Hello, everybody. We are live. We are expecting Sam. So, yeah, here she is. Just in time.
Yeah.
There we go. Hello.
Sorry about that. Having Mac trouble issues.
Oh,
yeah. Gareth to the rescue. Apparently, I was trying to shut it down earlier on, and it wouldn't shut down because something was open, and then it just wouldn't work at all. So anyway, he sorted it now. So here I am.
Yeah, bloody technology.
Well, you've seen what my Mac's like when I'm trying to chat on it. It's like it goes for so long and then it just gives up. Yeah. Everything just melts down. Anyway, hello everybody, and we haven't really got any particular plan today, so we're hoping that you're all going to ask us questions. It doesn't have to be reselling related; it can be anything within reason.
Yeah, some questions I'm not prepared to answer.
So firstly, say hello to Karin.
Hello.
You all right today?
Yes, I'm good, thank you.
Good. You were showing us your lovely tidy office a minute ago.
Don't look at that.
Looking good.
Well, that's because half of it is actually in the living room. I've got to sort all my fabric out. I didn't realise how much fabric I had until I put it all together in one place, and I was a bit shocked. I think my husband was as well.
Yeah, so the truth comes out now. And hello, Heather. How are you today?
Hello. All good. Yes, it's glorious sunny day down here. Really warm. Lovely.
It's warm here, but it's not very sunny. It's a bit dull.
It's sunny here, but not very warm.
All in different bits of the country.
Yeah. Did you get any snow the other day, Karin?
Bit of sleet.
Wow. Oh, you're up north though, aren't you? That's the thing. It's grim up north, so I'm told. That's what I'm told.
We can't all be posh southerners, you know.
Oh no, I loved it when I lived up north. I lived in Leeds for years. I loved it.
No wrong with us northern lass.
Absolutely. Some of my favourite ancestors are from up north, Yorkshire to be precise.
So other than tech issues, how are you doing, Sam?
I'm all right, yeah, good. As well as can be expected in the circumstances, I suppose. Same as everybody else, really. Foraging for stock, but apart from that, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sales are rubbish, but apart from that, yeah.
Right, let's say hello to a few people in the chat. Anthony was in first. And then DB Resales is in. Laura. Hello, Laura. And Leanne. Hi, Leanne. Daryl Sweatwhopper. Mama Five Sons. Thrifty Aussie. Hi there.
Wow.
Louise. Jem. Nia. And there's our Shel Staruni. Hi, Shelley. And Louise, Indie Chick. Hi. And then we've got Ollie, Chris, Kirsty. Did I already say hello to Laura? I think I did. I'm not sure. If I didn't, hello, Laura. Kath, Cheryl's in. Laurel, the first person, but you weren't the first person. Okay. Hello to everybody else that's joined since, but I'll be here forever if I say hello to everybody. But hello, thank you for joining us. Louise is first in with a question. So, if you could go back in time and relive a moment, what would it be? We'll start with Heather.
Oh God, lots of them. It's not fair to make me pick one.
I'm just going to do that. There we go.
The long hot summer of 1976. I was 13. The weather was amazing. I spent the entire time in a friend's outdoor swimming pool, which was like, yes. Ate a lot of ice cream and generally didn't have much of a care in the world. It was lovely.
Sounds like bliss. Okay, who wants to jump in next? Karin?
I thought it was if you could go back and change your decision that you made. Is it? No?
No, it says if you could go back in time and relive a moment.
Oh. See, I went straight to if I could do something different. Well, I'll say that anyway because it popped in my head straight away. Remember my calculator for my maths GCSE? I forgot it, and the teachers did not have spare calculators. It was like tough because we had 2 maths GCSE tests. One was just written and one was with a calculator, and I got them mixed up. And I lived around the corner from school, so I didn't have a bag. I just used to basically take a pen with me for my exams, and I forgot my calculator, and I just had a panic attack, and then realised I've just got to deal with it. And thank God my dad had taught me long division and, you know, how to work everything out on paper, and I managed to get an E.
School didn't teach you how to do that.
No, school didn't teach me. My dad did.
You see, I'm old enough where we didn't have calculators.
Did you not have asked to borrow one?
Yeah, I asked and they said it's tough.
Oh,
Cruel.
Yeah, I can imagine. Some teachers are like that. So, Sam, what would you relive?
There's quite a few moments, really. I think one of the biggest moments for me was my very first concert that I went to at Earl's Court in London, and that was to watch Pink Floyd when they got back together and did the Division Bell. That was a really poignant moment that I really, really remember. I remember nearly everything, you know, every minute of that gig. So, and that was the first ever gig that I went to. So I was how old was I? 16 probably. Yeah. So yeah, that, and probably watching U2 as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd love to go back and not too distant away actually. Only a few years, but went to see the Jacksons at Hammersmith, and that was it was like a dream come true. And they have done gigs since, but I've not gone because that was just like so perfect. I don't want to like spoil that memory. That was brilliant. So if I could see that concert again and be there again, that would be good.
I've just realised what I should have said. I should have said my wedding day, shouldn't I?
I don't any of us have said that.
But that's a good one, isn't it, really?
That would definitely be a no.
Oh no, I hope Nick's not watching. No, I didn't say that.
Both of my wedding days. My house party, which was amazing.
The birth of my son, but when you think about the pain that you go through, I suppose it's not really, you wouldn't really want to relive that, would you? Even though it was I suppose everybody's child being born is one of the most special things, but would you want to relive it?
So, there are some lovely, happy childhood memories that would be nice to go back to, wouldn't there?
I've got loads of happy memories. I had a happy childhood, so yeah, I was, and I am aware that I'm quite fortunate like that. Not a lot of people, there are quite a lot of people that don't have a good childhood, so I'm very fortunate.
So Louise has a question. She says, how is everyone's stock levels while in lockdown?
I think I answered that at the beginning. Non-existent. Foraging. Yeah.
How about you, Karin?
Well, I've just got a big shopping bag out full of sandals that I bought last year, and I haven't got round to listing those yet. So that's my mission. Yes, it's my mission to sort that out.
Laggy finger now.
Well, no, not really, because you'll be glad that you didn't list them, because now you can.
Yeah.
And I've got some summer dresses and skirts to steam as well and list.
Yeah, because that is my issue, buying stuff and then not listing it quick enough or putting it away. And but now I'm glad I did, because now I have a lot of stuff that we can get through.
Yeah, we were all calling them death piles before lockdown, and now they're all money piles. So I don't think any of us are going to call them death piles anymore, are we?
No, it's not being overrun with it when it gets big. I think that's the thing. I'm fairly fortunate because I've got a contact that I can get stock from. It's not always exactly what I would want, but I've been able to get some, and I've been able to pass some of that on as well, because it was somebody who would normally have been out there at flea markets and boot fairs, which aren't happening. But it's one of these old things where it's quite nice to help someone out, because if she stops getting her stock in, then she might lose her contact, which would be very bad in the long term for us all. So this way she can still get new stock in, but I'm helping her by clearing some of the other stuff and getting it out there.
But you're helping the resellers as well, Heather, as well.
I'm trying to. Yeah.
You're helping other resellers, aren't you, as well? So
yeah, I mean, I've never been one for doing bundles and job lots, but the way it's worked out is, like yourself, people are foraging around for stuff and they just want something that's got some profit margin in it and is half sensible that they can get on with. And I've been able to do that only on a very tiny scale, but I get a sort of few bags a week that I can send out. So I've been doing that and taking over half of the house in order to do it, which has been the downside.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's kept me busy and it's made me feel like I'm doing something constructive, and it's helping on all levels, really. So I'm very lucky, very fortunate.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of that, actually. It's been really nice to see the community sort of pulling together, and people have been helping each other out with stock. If they've been able to source some, they've been, you know, helping out. And people have been buying off each other, so that's been really good to see.
Yeah.
One of my questions was, what are your favourite ways to source stock in normal times?
Who's going first? I'll go.
Sorry. I was just
we're waiting for the my favourite places to source are charity shops and car boot sales. I did try auctions, but they're not my bag, to be honest. Mainly because of the stock that they sell. Really, it's all like ornaments and knick-knacky things, and it's not. I have to love an item to buy it, and when you're buying stuff from auctions and job lots, you don't get that feeling. So for me, it's got to be hand-picked from charity shops and car boots. Car boots have to be my favourite. If I could go to a car boot every day of the week, I would do. If they did car boots every day of the week, I would be there, because you can get stuff a lot cheaper. But charity shops, for me, charity shops and car boots, definitely.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
Well, I'm just charity shops. I do love a charity shop, and I do love hand picking stuff as well. I've had a couple of big hauls and I didn't enjoy it as much as going in the shop, and I get my spending fix then as well, because obviously you're going in the shop and you're handing over money or paying for something, and it's, you know, it makes me feel good as well as doing something for business. So
so I'll sort it out. It's just the camera that's gone. Let me see if I can bring it back. There we go. It's my end, not yours, I promise. Sorry, Alan.
So you were like, oh no, I'm not answering that question. I'm out.
Bouncing off. I'm gone. No, well, you know me. I love a jumble. I love the very occasional sort of jumble trails that happen. Those are bloody amazing, but they're very rare. I love a boot fair, although that can be quite hard work because it's a lot of schlepping up and down, trying to, you know, get things. But I've had some amazing picks. And I love my favourite charity shops, especially when they have their "we want to get rid of everything, everything's £2 kind of day," when I fill my boots. So yeah, I love it all. I like spending money that way. It's gambling without the risk.
My favourite way of sourcing is definitely a jumble trail. I'm craving jumble trails at the moment. I just absolutely love them. I was watching Recycled Life doing what they've called the world's longest garage sale. And it's similar to our sort of jumble trails that, you know, villages or towns hold, where you just go all day. And I was just like, oh, what do we do in that in the sunshine? Yeah, finding lots of cheap goodies.
I have a question that rolls on from that then.
Yeah.
My question to you is, because you can't go out and source at charity shops, have you been spending money elsewhere that you probably shouldn't spend? I know I have. I've been spending on my garden because I've recently moved house. I can't go out sourcing. So I've been spending money on the garden. And although it's lovely and it's looking really nice, I'm getting my fix, but it's coming out of my pocket instead of coming out of the business's pocket. So what I'm trying to say is that do you feel that you still need that spend? You need to spend, try on.
I don't really. I enjoy finding bargains, but I don't feel like I need a spending fix. So I haven't really bought anything other than food.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's taken a while to get to that point. I think I've kind of trained myself not to buy new very much. So I don't crave going to shops and buying stuff these days. You're right, Heather. What's that?
Sorry, there was a very strange noise that came from another room. I thought, oh, sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd give anything to be able to go out safely and be virus free and to be able to go and have a mooch around the shops right now. Don't get me wrong, you know. But I know
like old B&Ms that I go to when I go and get me bits of shopping and stuff, because it's a big massive B&Ms. It's a garden centre one as well. So when you're there, it's sort of like, because I've just got a new house and a garden, which I've never had before, it's sort of like, oh, I'll just have a look round. And it was like, oh, I'll have one of those and I'll have one of those. Before you know it, you know, so, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not spending money that I haven't got, sort of thing. I would never do that. But, and I am enjoying building the garden up. But I just, half of me wonders, am I addicted to shopping? And is that why I love reselling so much? Because I love going out, getting the finds and, you know, finding bargains and buying stuff. I mean, even in the garden centre, like I went to a garden centre that opened yesterday and they had 2 trees that had been reduced to half price. And I had to buy them because they were they were really expensive trees and they were half price. So I thought, why not? So, like, I can't resist a bargain. So I thought,
yeah. Well, that's it. That's the bargain hunter in you, isn't it?
That is. Yeah.
You're really enjoying sort of organising your garden and making it look lovely. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't really like buying for its own sake, and I empathise with a lot of what other people have said, where they're not getting their spending fix, or they've realised that they have a need to spend that's kind of is like an itch you can't scratch. I mean, I always say I hate shopping, as in, you wanted to take me around Blue Water or one of those big shopping malls, it'd be like hell. It's my idea of hell.
Yeah.
A day trolling around some charity shops, my idea of heaven.
Yeah.
Because I'm not buying for me. I'm not under, I don't know. I like the hunt. I like the challenge of trying to find something weird and wonderful and inexpensive and peculiar and something I know nothing about. I love that. But yeah, I have spent on my garden, admittedly, because our last year's garden furniture, the old garden furniture, gave up the ghost a long time ago. So I did treat us to a really rather nice piece of garden furniture, but I would probably have done that anyway. I just had that slight sense of urgency with it, with the lockdown situation looming on the horizon, that if I didn't do it then, it was going to be difficult to do it later. So I kind of grabbed that one with both hands. But generally, I don't spend any money, Rich, apart from sort of gifts for people or for the business. I don't need anything myself, I don't find, really.
Have you been getting your fix then, Corinne? Or do you need a fix?
Well, a little tip I would say is of an evening, like I've been like going on Wilco's website, putting loads of stuff in my basket and then not checking out. And I do that with my catalogue as well. I stick a little cart next to it and put stuff and then go back to it a few days later and think, why did I put that in my basket? I don't know. Yeah. So that's how I'm doing it, because I can't afford to buy stuff. So, well, little bits and bobs, but nothing major. We were very lucky with our garden chairs. Someone had put them out for the rubbish.
Oh,
and nothing wrong with them. They're like really nice woven chairs. Darren sits on them all the time in the backyard. And then my sister-in-law bought us sun loungers when we got this place with a garden. And a lot of the flowers in the pots and that I inherited. And then we've been taking little where you cut little clippings off other people's. People have given us clippings, and A plum tree just sprouted up, as I showed you in the border underneath the cherry blossom. So we've got to move that yet. But yeah, I really haven't spent a lot of money. The only thing we've spent way too much money on is bloody food.
Oops.
Yeah.
But that's easy to do at the moment, isn't it? I'm tending to overbuy, not like panic buy or anything, but buy for like to last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, lots of tin stuff so that I don't have to, you know, go through the rigmarole of it. Or
Indy's just said there that yeah, she's very good at that. When I've gone shopping with her, I pick up stuff that I'm going to buy, and she talks me out of it.
Yeah.
But she did it with we were in Marks and Spencer's near Christmas, and I love stuff with star print on. There was a nightie with stars all over it, and I was so excited. I was like, I've got to buy that. I've just got to buy it. And she was like, you don't need to buy it. How many nighties have you got? And like talked me out of it. Then I got it for Christmas off Darren. So just as well.
Yeah. I think Lex is finding that, isn't she, that with her no spend, that when she actually steps back from it, from that instant feeling of, oh, I really would like to buy that, I really want that, when you step back from it and just give it a day or so, actually you think, oh no, I don't know why I wanted that, really.
Yeah. It's often a split decision, and you know, a spare of the moment decision, and you've got to just try and get past that. And I do that quite a lot.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. It's the spur of the moment thing. And she said she nearly bought a pair of trousers because they were called something Bowie-esque. You know, they had associations, and it's kind of like the marketers do that deliberately. You're being manipulated. So I'm amazed and pleased that, you know, to navigate your way through that and realize that's what's happening, and to leave it, say, for a few days or a week, come back to it and go, do I really still want that, or was that just a? Because it's often that you don't need the stuff, but there's a feeling that needs to be satisfied. And so much shopping goes on that. I mean, I don't tend to shop that way, but mainly because I studied marketing, so I know, and I ain't that bothered about stuff, bizarrely. But yeah, it's a hell of a journey once you catch yourself and you realise you've been hooked by some corporation's marketing ploy. It's a satisfying feeling to step back from it. It really is.
I think it's a similar thing with food, you know, as well. I'm learning that because I've gone back on my diet, and I'll often really fancy something, and then I'll just have a pint of squash, sit there for a minute and think, no, I was just thirsty.
Yeah, they do say that sometimes when you feel hungry, really what you need is a drink.
Yeah, we don't always know the difference, or we're not always tuned in, and a lot of the food thing is an emotional response rather than a physical, I actually need food. It's kind of like, oh, I'd like that because I'm feeling this, that'll make me feel better, which by and large it generally doesn't, not in the longer term, but hey ho.
That's where that craving for chocolate comes from. It's like,
and the reward
chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Kirsty Walker's got an interesting question. Who would you most like to take out for lunch and a drink, dead or alive?
Is it only one person, or can we have more than one?
Oh, I don't know. Probably can have more than one.
Oh, okay. Start
with you then, Sam.
Oh, there's quite a couple actually. But
and thank you to the first person for the super sticker. Thank you.
Oh, lovely. Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah.
Freddie. Yeah. I'd love to spend the day with Freddie and ask him about his life and have a cup of tea and a slice of cake, and you know. Yeah, I love Queen. I cried. I remember him die. I remember the day that he died, and I was at school, and I was in the last year at school, and it was rather the last year I think it was the last year of school, and I cried my ass out because I was really into Queen at that time. I mean, I love Queen anyway, but at that time I was really, really into him, and I broke my little heart again. So yeah, Freddie Mercury, definitely.
How about you then, Karen?
I've just had a mental block. I know this sounds really silly, but I would really like to go to lunch with my granddad, because I was 12 when he died, and I want to talk to him as an adult, as a mature adult, who can actually have a adult conversation. Do you know what I mean? I know that sounds silly, but
It doesn't sound silly at
I'd love
all.
to.
Not at all.
He was a bit of an idol to me. Though I'd be worried that I'd be disappointed, but I don't think I would.
No.
Have you got anyone, Heather?
Well, Freddie Mercury would definitely been up there on the list. I've only got 3 that I would say, because that makes 4, doesn't make a nice number, including me. I'd go for Kenny Everett, because I think he'd be hilarious. Grayson Perry, because I just think the man's an absolute legend. And Vivienne Westwood, because I'd love to pick her brains about how it all started and her ideas and things. I could have hundreds, but
Vivienne Westwood, did you see? That thing you put on your Instagram of her doing that thing she'd written about?
Yeah.
What was the point of her being in her basement? Was it so that people didn't
a series of them, and every day she's in a different outfit in a different place in her house.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it looked a bit weird out of context.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was just choosing a different space in her house. Sometimes on the stairs, sometimes in her garden.
Right.
She just happened to be in her utility room that particular day.
I thought maybe she was doing it to say, so people couldn't say to her, "It's all right for you in your big massive house with your lovely," because it was just like a mop and a bucket and the electric. I was like, what?
Well, actually, I would love to sit down with Vivienne Westwood and talk to her about her, not necessarily fashion, but her ideas about the world. I think she's fascinating, and yeah, and I'm totally on board with everything she says. I just wish that the particular leaders of the world would actually take note and act accordingly, because I mean, it's predictable, really, but it's just like everybody's just saying, let's just go back to how things were, but things aren't how they were, and there are obvious problems. I know we said we wouldn't talk about politics, so I'll shut up in a minute. There are obvious problems with the way things were that have led to the situation we're in now. So we really need to give the world a good old shake, and the leaders of the world need to take responsibility and make positive changes. I've got off my soapbox now.
Exactly. One of the things that fascinates me is, apart from the actual sort of political aspect of it, which I'll pop over there for a minute, is the fact that if they really have to, they can do something ever so quickly. And yet normally it's like, oh, well, we can't do that because it'll take ages for this to go through and ages for that. And it's like, if the will is there and enough people are behind something, they can change things actually surprisingly fast. Hopefully we won't forget that as time goes on, that you can actually, things that seem like a massive big ask can be changed a lot more quickly and simply than you'd think. So I'll leave it there. I'll shut up now. But yeah.
The only thing I was going to say about it.
Oh, sorry, carry on.
Sorry, the only thing I was going to say about it was the fact that, don't you think that the UK government have this kind of, I can't think of the word at the minute, self-importance, that they feel like they can't copy what anyone else is doing. They have to do something different. They have to make a different decision compared with what other people in Europe are doing, because they think they know better. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that whole thing of we're going to be the best at testing.
Yeah.
What doesn't matter as long as you're testing. It doesn't matter who's the best at it. Just do it, for goodness sake.
I'm saying we're doing that well, that we've got the highest death counts outside of America. So
Exactly.
World-beating testing.
Well done, UK.
Yeah, best at something, eh?
Oh my God. Yes. Okay, let's move off that. Sorry.
On a positive note, I do think it's brought people a lot closer together. I think it's been very good for the environment, like pollution-wise and stuff like that. I mean, you're reading reports of like fish in the seas where they've never been seen for how many years. So I think if anything good's going to come out of it, the world's going to be a cleaner place. That's probably the wrong word, but I think it's give the world a break with all the pollution.
Well, needed one. Let's just, let's hope it just doesn't all just revert back again.
Yeah.
Okay, so June's got a question. I've randomly been chosen to take part in the COVID research testing. How would you ladies feel if you have or got selected?
Well, you should say that, because in our group today, one of our other seller ladies' husbands actually had a letter for the exact same thing. So, and none of us lot have had it. She was just asking, you know, have we had it? So, I don't know.
Not yet.
You wouldn't get much information from me because I've literally had no contact with anyone except for Darren, and anything that has come in contact with anyone else has been cleaned within an inch of its life, and I haven't been out anywhere apart from round the block with the dog once. So you wouldn't get much information out of me at all.
Yeah. I think it's a really good idea, actually. I think it's good that they're doing that, and yeah, I'd take part. It's just literally testing you, isn't it, to see whether you've got it. So
yeah,
I'd be happy to do whatever it takes to help this along. They've got to get their act together, and if this is part of it, they've got a good shift on. That said, my postman hasn't been today, so there could be a letter. But yeah, you know, it's like, yeah, if it's not going to put your own health at risk, which presumably it's not, then yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, and I feel the same, you know, as long as it wasn't like, you know, as long as I wasn't being a guinea pig and, you know, they were injecting me with all sorts of stuff that could kill me, then if it was just like testing if I'd had the virus or, you know, and stuff like that, then yeah, I would be more than willing to do something like that.
They need a large amount of data before they can make anything. That's why they've got to get this, because they just haven't got enough data to make proper scientific evaluations of stuff. So.
Yeah, as soon as they roll out being able to get tested for the antibody thing, I'd be interested to know whether I've had it or been in contact with it at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking to see if we've got any other questions. Talk amongst yourselves.
eBay show convention. What's that about?
Someone asked if we've all got the Kallax units. I don't think you have you, Heather?
I have.
Oh, you have?
I've got Kallax in it.
Oh, we all have Kallax then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were hijacked from my son's room and he decided he didn't need them anymore. And they're not as tidy as yours, Karen. Let's just put it there.
No, I really don't think I could sell any of my fabric. I love it too much. A lot of it I won't cut because I love it so much. I don't want to cut it and spoil it.
Oh no. Oops.
Okay. Well, on my list of questions that I was randomly going to ask, have any of you got any are you watching any sort of TV shows or seen any films recently that you could recommend or that you really enjoyed particularly?
Oh, I'd have to recommend the Fargo series. Everyone's probably seen it. They're on Netflix, and we were a bit late to the party with Netflix, and we've been very much enjoying it. Obviously, we rewatched the film, then we saw the first series, and we've just finished watching the second series, which is set in the 70s, which is brilliant. And then I think there's another one that's been made. So loving that. It's kind of quirky and kind of weird, but fun. And also enjoying watching reruns of Father Ted. It makes me giggle. I mean, it's horribly sexist and horribly, it's awful really, but it's brilliant. So yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the odd one of Father Ted, but never seen the whole series.
Yeah, there weren't loads of them because the chap who was Father Ted died, I think, at some point, a bit, somewhat prematurely. But what they did make was quite amusing, quite silly.
Have you been watching anything recently, Sam, or any films you've enjoyed?
I know it sounds. I've been watching reruns of Benidorm just for the laughs. To be honest, I've always watched them on and off, but I've never actually watched the whole lot. So I thought, we'll start from the beginning. And I know it's crap TV, but it's so funny. It's so funny, some of it, and you just need to laugh at times like this, don't you? So I've been watching that, and then I like watching all the old kids films from when I was a kid, like Wizard of Oz, and we watched Labyrinth yesterday, and just all stuff like that. We've got the Disney channel, and we've got Netflix and Prime TV and all of that. So we've just been going through. But films, as in like just ordinary films, anything supernatural. I love anything supernatural. So if anybody's got any recommendations, any new films, yes, love a good supernatural.
Oh, Steve's in the house.
Oh, is it?
Hello.
Sorry, here's the ice cream van.
Connect with me, please.
Every Friday, 2:30. The ice cream van.
Excellent.
Every night we've been watching CSI, because we used to watch that, and then I think we couldn't get one of the series, so we stopped watching it for a few years. And then I saw that it was on every night on Sky Witness, so we record it every night and then watch the previous night's one every evening. And Lawrence Fishburne has just took over. I think it's series 9. I think it's series 9. And we've been watching Spooks, because we never watched that. That started when we got together. But funnily enough, when we first got together, we didn't watch much television. So that passed us by. So yeah, we've been watching Spooks. And films. I really love The Mandalorian on the Disney Channel. We watched all of those.
No, we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, Gareth's watching that at the moment. Yeah, it's not my kind of thing, but yeah, Gareth's watching that.
And films. We recently watched the new Men in Black, which I thought was quite good. I can't remember what it was called.
Is that the fourth one then?
Is it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a fourth one.
No.
Got, what's his name? Liam Hemsworth in it.
Ooh, we'll have to look.
He's one of the Men in Black. Yeah, that was quite good. But we haven't watched many films lately. Oh, and apart from the new Star Wars, that was brilliant. Darren always buys those, so we got the special edition one and turned the living room into a cinema and got popcorn and everything. That was good.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I haven't seen the one before it yet, so I think we're planning to do that maybe this weekend. Watch the one before it and then The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either, and I was such a fan of the original 70s ones. And everything else after that has always been a slight disappointment. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. The last thing that we binge watched was Afterlife. I think we watched it nearly the entire series in one night, me and Nick, and got to the penultimate episode and I was sobbing so hard. I said, I just can't watch the last one. So had to save that for the next day. But yeah, I know that Lex didn't rate it, but I'm
not a fan either.
We both loved it. Really loved it.
Darren watched it. I haven't watched it, but it even made Darren cry. Yeah. Well, shed a tear, not cry, just shed a tear. But I didn't watch it with him. He watched it on his own.
Yeah. Okay, so Leanne's got a question. Has anyone read about all of the plastic PPE equipment? Can it be recycled after use? I haven't seen anything in the papers about it. I would doubt it can be recycled. I imagine it's all going to landfill. But at the end of the day, they need it. And there's not a lot they can do about it.
There are companies that are making reusable PPE, sorry, that you can actually watch. I know Burberry was one that was doing it. And no, was it Burberry and Mulberry, I think? They were actually making PPE like gowns and stuff that people could wash. So give it another couple of years, they'll probably be on eBay for silly money.
Yeah, going for a lot of money probably. Burberry PPE. Ooh.
Yeah.
So, but apart from that, I don't think like the general plastic ones, I think they're just one use and then the incineration, don't they? They're not recyclable.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable and it's needed right now. So it's just something that we're just going to have to deal with. But one thing that really irks me, and it'll probably be controversial, is people using rubber gloves because the gloves don't do anything. You know, even if when you put the gloves on, you feel this false sense of security. But if you touch something and then you touch something else, it's exactly the same as if you touched it with your hand. You're still spreading it. If you touch your face, you're still, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't protect you. So the best thing that you can do is not waste that plastic with the rubber gloves and just wash your hands or use hand sanitizer when you touch
carry a hand sanitizer with me.
Yeah.
When I've been in somewhere, I've touched something, I get back in the car and I do the gel, and I gel my steering wheel and I gel my
I'll do that.
Yeah. And then
Yes. So I think that if anyone wants to save plastic on that kind of thing, don't use plastic gloves, just sanitize. Yeah.
Oh, you take your marigolds with you and then wash them when you get back.
Yeah. Or like Lex is doing, she's taking her Vivian Westwards and then giving them a wash afterwards. Yeah. That's the stylish way to do it.
Oh, Crown Girl. The new Men in Black features a bamboo headboard I sold to them. Wow, claim to fame. Oh. Wow. A good claim to fame, isn't it?
Well, yes, it's nice when you see stuff being used. It's bad though when you're watching movies and things and you're just looking at the props and thinking, I'm sure I've seen those at the flea market.
Gerald, do you watch the movie and then rewind it and play it again and rewind it the bit where your headboard's in?
Got it saved on his phone somewhere. Ah, that's a good question.
Yeah. So do you keep much stock for yourself?
Very rarely, I would say.
Oh.
It's quite rare. Sometimes I'll keep something because I've picked it up. It happens to be my size and it's got something wrong with it and I'm not going to sell it. And I think, you know what, like this T-shirt, it's like this. It's got no value to it, but I quite like it because it's a boy one. I thought I'll hang on to that for a while. But if stuff's quite valuable, I might hold on to it for a bit. That kind of catch and release thing, where about 3 weeks in, I'm like, I haven't worn it. It's not going to suit me. I'm not going to wear it anywhere. I'll sell it. So usually, yeah, unless it's one of my sort of things that I love and I picked it up for me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a few things that I do that, you know, if I see something, I think, oh yeah, I'd really like that. So pick it up for myself. But then sometime down the line, I might decide, you know, I've used that enough or I've worn that and put it back in stock. But sometimes I do look after things for a while. You know, or I list things and then they end up, you know, on shelves just looking pretty instead of in a drawer. So, and then somebody buys it and I'm gutted because
I've got that like the bumping birds.
Yes. At the moment, I've got a really nice wooden deer on my shelf, and I really like that. And it, you know, I keep sending offers out and then thinking, oh, please don't take it. But at the same time, I know I do want to sell it. It's just, yeah, I'll find something to replace it. It's just you get attached to things, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, some stuff is too lovely to pass on.
I've got the bird on the window ledge and I keep meaning to list it. And it doesn't go with the living room, but I just love it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's stamped on the bottom as well. There's I don't think it's anything really expensive or anything, but it's a French one. And it's just beautiful. I love it. It doesn't go with my living room or anything like that. It just sits on the window ledge, but I will list it eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much same as everybody else. Yeah. I don't buy any clothing new myself, apart from underwear. Everything I buy is second hand from charity shops and stuff like that. Because I don't think there's any need to buy new clothes. Really, there's that much in circulation that. And I certainly don't buy from Primark. I hate Primark. I hate it with a passion. Yeah, I hate that store.
Yeah. I would just want to say to Ryan, I wasn't talking about hospital workers or carers or anybody. I was talking about general public, you know. Yeah, because it's obvious that hospital workers and carers, etc., need the PPE. Yeah. Do you ever keep your stock, Karen, or are you ever tempted to?
If I see something I really like that I want for myself, I'll generally pay cash for it, and then my stock, I'll pay separately on the card. So I've got like cash in my purse for stuff for me, and then I'll just pay for them separately. Very rare that I'll buy something in my size and decide that I want it later. So I do wear a lot more stuff that's from charity shops now. I'll often buy quite a lot more when I'm with my mum, when I'm in Felixstowe in the charity shops there, because I get her opinion. Whereas when I'm here, I'm normally sourcing on my own and I'm not sure. So and I don't often find there's nice stuff here for myself than I do in Felixstowe. It's weird. But I bought this because I just loved it when I saw it in the catalogue. But it is a bit big for me, really. But I'll probably sell it when it gets too big. But it is a bit big now, really.
Sometimes it's nice to just wear an oversized sweater, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just disappear into it. Maggie May says, have you started any routines or habits during lockdown that you want to continue? Heather?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a habit exactly, but for the first time I actually ordered something from an online, from that Simply Be thing, because it's the jumpsuit that everyone's got, and I did get one and I have kept it. And it was kind of like, I never do that. I never order clothes online, because normally I'm just so petrified they're not going to fit, or they're going to be too short or too big or whatever, that I don't really ever trust it. So the fact that I've done it makes me think, well, I could do that again and get a couple of things, and you can always send them back, which I always, but so it's not going to be a habit, because that way lies a lot of spending that I really don't need to do. But it just opened another sort of like, oh, I shouldn't rule them out. They're probably all right.
That's when I get most of my clothes, from catalogues rather than actual shops, because for starters, I absolutely hate going around shops. I get so tired, and you get so hot trying loads of stuff on. I'd rather try it on at home. So I very rarely buy from high street shops anyway.
Exactly. I mean, I buy from charity shops, but then it's reasonably easy for me to buy, I don't know, a t-shirt or a jumper, because it's going to fit me if it's a certain sort of size. Bit trickier with jeans, I have to say. But when they're sort of like £3 a pair, you don't mind sort of buying a couple of pairs and thinking, well, if they don't fit me, I can sell them on. But yeah, I mean, I'd still be wary about buying anything sort of bottom half-ish, if you like something that's meant to be fitted from a catalogue, because unless you know their cut and the way they make things, it can be so random.
I'm lucky with Littlewoods. They have a few different types of jeans that they sell every year, and I usually buy the same ones, and they do a petite in, so I'm usually, they're the right length for me and fit okay. So
yeah,
habits wise, I've been sleeping a load better. Loads better.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I have the odd night where I have, wake up, or the dog wakes me up or something like that. But most nights I'm sleeping right through till between 8:30 and 9, which is really late for me.
And is there anything that you can think of as to why you're doing that during the lockdown? Or
I think it's because normally I've got appointments. I have quite a lot of hospital appointments and things like that. So I'm usually like stressed about those, or even though I enjoy volunteering at the charity shop, I usually used to be quite anxious the day before I went to do it. And because none of that's happening, I'm more relaxed when I go to bed. So I'm sleeping better.
Mine has to be yoga. I started yoga at the beginning of lockdown. There's a fantastic girl, and her channel is a Mind Body Calm Yoga. She's in the chat. Her name is Louise. She goes under Indie Chick, and she started doing Zoom classes because she couldn't do her normal classes where she lives. But Louise doesn't live anywhere near me, so she just said, well, you can come and join the Zoom class. So started doing Louise's Zoom classes, and I'm also doing my own research on YouTube and finding people to do yoga. And I'm thoroughly every morning now, I'll get up, I'll do yoga, and it sets me up for the day. And I absolutely will definitely be continuing that after lockdown.
That's great.
So yeah, it's been absolutely it's been life changing for me. It's really, really helped in so many ways.
Yeah, it's my old age insurance. That's what I call it, because as you get older, you tend to not move so much, and it keeps you going. It keeps you joints lubricated, and it keeps you in your body and not so much in your head. I can't sing its praises enough. I've been doing it for years and years and years. But what these people are doing by making their classes online and putting stuff out there is just brilliant.
Yeah, and Indy's classes, she caters from the very beginning, which is what I am, a beginner, and then she'll modify whatever she's doing to suit people that are more advanced in her class. So like she'll do like an asana, which is like a pose sort of thing, and then she'll modify that for people that are a bit more advanced, that they can go a little bit deeper or into the pose or whatever. So it's absolutely brilliant. It caters for everybody. So yeah, very, very recommended. Go over and subscribe and all that.
Yeah. I've absolutely loved going for a walk every day with Nick and Ellen. It's just nice to just go out and sort of chat to each other. The last time that we were doing that was when we were training for the moonwalk, and didn't have Ellen with us then, obviously. So I've loved that. And also I think we've actually spoken to family more than we normally would, because we have a niece in Leeds and a niece in London, and we're all scattered all around the country. So it's been nice to have that sort of excuse almost to have a family Zoom call and to actually speak to people and see them. And otherwise you'd wait sort of months before they came to visit, or you'd have a family day or whatever. So that's been really nice. And
I did something lovely on Monday. I think I showed you pictures, didn't I? I made chocolate chip cookies with my nephews, who are one's just turned 6 and the other one's 11, and they done half the recipe each, and my sister was helping them, and we were on FaceTime, chatting, and it was lovely. It was really nice.
Yeah, I just misread that question down there.
All right.
I thought if you could sell one of your family members.
Oh, I've got a few.
Just one.
Sorry, Chris Tyler, didn't mean.
Which one would it be and why?
Well, I don't think Nick would hesitate in selling me.
Oh.
It's a feeling mutual, Andrea.
No.
Oh.
No. I always joke with him that, if I was something on his shelf with a price tag on, he might pay me more attention.
Oh.
If you had mechanical moving parts, yes.
Yeah. So, and does anyone want to answer that? If you could sell one of your family members' items, what would it be and why?
My cat is at the opposite side of the room, just glowing at me now. He's supposed to be working. He's a lazy sod. If I said your computer, would you be angry with me?
No, but I know.
I don't know. That's a hard one. Probably not so much his items, but his bloody singing voice when he's in the garden. He had the music on the other day and he was singing away, and it's he's so embarrassing. So embarrassing.
I think that's a men thing though, because Darren thinks he can sing and he really can't.
You all know that Nick can sing so well.
My husband can't sing, but he knows he can't sing. So
okay.
helps. A little awareness is like, you could clear a room in,
Yeah, but he does all the dance moves with the songs he's singing, and it's like, I'm like, no, just no.
He needs to join Nick and Tom and do something together.
Oh my goodness, Tom singing.
Oh dear.
You got any answers to that then, Heather?
Not really, no. I don't think there's anything I really want to sell. Certainly not my husband's or my son's. I don't know. I could sell one of my father's sports cars. That would be rather nice because it'd bring in lots of money. But he would be very unchuffed.
Yes.
He'd never talk to me again. So no. Oh.
Anything for you, Karen, that you would?
You see, well, I could say Darren's Xbox, but then what would Darren do?
Yes. You'd be talking to you all the time.
Yeah, it keeps him out of trouble, you know. He's on that. I know where he is.
Don't take the toys off him. They'll be under your feet.
Exactly.
I honestly can't think of anything. There's nothing that Nick has got that annoys me that I would want to sell. And nothing that's worth a lot of money that...
What are you saying?
I would probably sell half of Darren's wardrobe, you know, because he's got far too many clothes. He's got twice as many as me.
Wow.
Okay, so Ashley asks, what are your top mood boosting tips for when you're having a very trying week?
Long hot bubble bath helps me. That's what I have. With Netflix, I take my iPad in and prop it up on the toilet and watch Netflix while I'm in the bath relaxing.
Yeah, I could be really flippant and say, well, a large gin and tonic or a decent glass of wine is always very therapeutic. But basically, I'm not sure you should necessarily try and bust your mood. If you're in a bad place, you're in a bad place. I think talking to other people helps, not feeling you're the only one. And the main thing is to, as we were saying a little bit earlier in our private chat, is to remember that it always changes. It's not permanent. So even if you're feeling out of sorts for a bit, it won't be like that forever. Yeah. It's taking yourself out of that. It's always going to be, because genuinely it's not. So that's the best thing to remember, I think. But we'll all have very trying weeks because that's what life does.
You've got to do what Ronan Keating said.
Oh dear.
Life's a roller coaster, you've just got to ride it.
Not cheesy at all.
I'm going to have that on my brain now.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. But yeah, but that partly that, but music, I think. Yeah. Just your favourite music, the stuff that really lifts your spirit, you know, that you can sing along to, play it loudly. And yeah, that's my way of getting out of stuff, or just distracting myself from how I'm feeling for a while. It's always a good mood booster. Just put some really good music on that you can sing along to and lift the spirit.
Mine is taking myself away from what the current situation that I'm in, and sort of like taking a step back. And it's not easy to do at the moment, obviously, because we're stuck in the house. But say I'm just having a rubbish day at work and stuff like that, I'm not getting things done, and it's driving me mad. I will just get up and I'll just get in the car and I'll go to a charity shop or something like that, and just just break up the day and just forget about it. And again, I'll come back to it. Yoga has been brilliant for me for a mood lifter. Absolutely brilliant. Meditation and stuff like that. Yeah. Obviously, it's meditation is not for everybody. Well, it is, but it's quite hard. I found it quite hard to do, to sort of like let go of everything and sort of, it's not. But it's helped me loads. So yeah.
Right, we're nearly on the hour, so I'm just going to choose one more to do, and I'm sorry that we haven't got around to answering everybody's questions, but just going to choose this one quickly to end with, because in it, Flip It is saying that they're finding it hard to stay focused, and asking, do we sit down for hours at a time, or are we up and down doing other things in between? How do you manage to stay focused when you're working?
I'm a bit scatterbrained at the minute. I'm just doing bits of everything. I'm not sticking to one thing for a long time. The only thing I did sit and do was my tax return, and I thought, I've started it now, I might as well finish it. But everything else, I just keep picking up and putting down and doing little bits of everything. I get distracted and do something else for a little bit, but that's okay, as long as it gets done.
I have days where I can sit down and do, like the other day, I sat down the other day and drafted about 30 items because I was in the mood to do it. And then other days, I can't even be bothered sitting at the computer. But that is the whole joy of being self-employed and doing this job, is because you do what's best for you. You, as famous last words as Carla says, you do you and I'll do me.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're doing at that time is what's right for you and what you want to do. So don't ever feel guilty that you know, I've only done 10 listings today and I'm supposed to be doing 20. I'm not guilty about doing that, you know what I mean? Just do what feels right for you that day, you know what I mean? And that's all I do. You know, like the other day, like I was focused, I was on it. Like I said, I rattled 20 listings off, no problem. But yesterday, I don't think I did any listings at all. Today, I've drafted about 5 or 6 jewellery items. And these jewellery items are what Lex sent me about 8 weeks ago. Because it's not my bag, but I am trying and I will get through them. But sometimes it is a chore, but I don't feel bad about it.
I would say don't force yourself to do something because you think you have to do it, because you just won't focus properly at all on it. I had a really difficult day yesterday trying to focus and felt a bit anxious and just had a really off day. And the thing that I felt like doing, which is weird because some days I really don't feel like doing it, was listing stock. So that's what I did. And I just literally, I felt like doing that. So I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do then. And
you have to be in the right headspace and the right mood. I tend to I'll do a whole load of one thing. Like I'm going to do a massive load of photography this afternoon. And then I'll do a load of drafting on another day, and then I'll have a day when I feel like I haven't really done anything. And it just depends. I've got to the point where I'm a little bit ahead of myself because I schedule listings, but I still like to keep ahead of myself. So yeah, when the mood takes me, I go a bit hell for leather and zip through. And other times it's like, I want to sit in the garden because it's a nice day. So you've got to do what you can do.
The thing is, I was out in the garden the other day, Heather, and it's right. It was like absolutely gorgeous day, and I thought, should be listing. I thought, got that. I can list at night when the sun's gone in. I can list any time I want. And I just sat in the garden and enjoyed the sunshine. And like you said.
Yeah. We need vitamin D apparently, so that's the best place to get it from.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you referring to what you saw on Steve's post. Steve was talking about vitamin D, but Joe Rogan talking about vitamin D. Anyway, no, you obviously weren't. But
I wasn't. It's bouncing around on the webs that it's supposed to be protective and helpful, and it makes me feel good. So that's what I do.
Lots of lovely sunshine, and it's important right now, and not to get stressed. That's really important right now. And don't stress about being stressed if you are, because I do that. I'm not supposed to be stressed, but now I'm stressed. I'm stressed. Yeah. Okay. So thank you everybody for all the lovely questions, and I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to answer all of them, but thank you for joining us today, and thank you Karen, Sam and Heather for joining us, and we'll see you hopefully next week. We might be on Kelly's channel, I don't know. She's still having issues with cars, but not sure what will happen. You'll have to wait and see. But anyway, thank you. Bye everybody.
Bye. Awkward waving.
That's right. Jazz hands.
We're still live.
Bye.